Evening.
Oh yeah,
Oh, all right. It's go time.
it is go time.
Be
Yep,
awesome.
we are on.
Got
Appreciate
HGR.
everybody. Good
Yeah, we
evening.
got Benny. He's on the move. He's zero hour business. He's not at not in
Well,
South Carolina right now. This man is mobile.
2 states away.
2 states away.
Two states
Official
away.
bingo. Government
Yeah,
business. Can't be saying anything about it. Secret stuff.
trying to make some pleasure with it. I brought a few golf clubs. You
Oh
know,
man.
it is June. The weather's nice too. It was getting brutal down there in Charleston, like a
The
hundred
weather is
hundred
perfect.
degrees. Yeah,
Yeah, right now it's just like 70. It's mint. It's my favorite weather. But yeah, I mean, so right before the show, we had breaking news. We just had the 27th peace deal, announced
right.
with Iran. So 27th end to the war just got sent out today. That's apparently going to be signed in Sweden between the U.S. and Iran on the 19th. I didn't see mention of Israel there, so we'll have to see. They seem to kind of want to do their own thing without. I feel like there's supposed to be two sides here, but it kind of feels like a triangle where it's
Uh-huh.
one side saying one thing, the other is not saying that, but saying maybe there's something there. Then you have the third one, the wild card, that's doing something and not talking to either of the other two. So I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on, but obviously futures responded. Nasdaq futures skyrocketed from
nice.
29,600 all the way to 3,500. So futures went up like 1,000 points tonight. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I don't know how we're going to trade it tomorrow. I'm just watching futures charts right now. I probably just won't take a trade because I mean it's already moved 1,000 points overnight. So how am I
Yeah,
supposed to trade that, right? I
right,
mean, we don't
right.
know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is it going to drop? Is it going to keep going? I mean, we are in dangerously overbought territories like we've been. I haven't seen anything coming over overnight for like our favorite small caps and things like that. But I mean, large cap market is just absolutely loving this news. But I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, right? When these
Right.
deals assign ink to pad, I'll believe it, and I'll be okay. Market's ready to go, some more. But until then, man, I would be hedged. I would be hedged with some puts for sure. Find some puts for the cheap tomorrow because we have a 4 day week. Juneteenth is Friday, which means I believe the stock market is closed.
Right.
And deal is a
It
good
is.
sign. You better believe market's opening up red the following Monday. So I think it's a great time
Man.
to hedge with some puts.
And it's OPEX and all too, right? Everything expires Thursday. All the
Oh yeah, and
quarterlies and the
OpEx.
monthlies and the weeklies. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy, and right on the heels of the SpaceX IPO, right?
Yeah, that kind of did. Well, at least it did what I thought with it pumping right away because everyone was fading it. Everyone and their mother was saying it's going down, and I was
Right.
thinking, man, if every single person says it's going to go down, it's going to go up. So it's like, okay, it shot up. We'll have to see what happens. But we saw all the liquidity from the other space companies get sucked into the SpaceX IPO with
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single space company absolutely tanking on Friday.
Uh,
And that to me is a great opportunity. I mean, I look at ASTS at around 80. I look at Rocket Lab around 100, RDW, wherever that was. And they really look like some good opportunities right now for actually selling some cash secured puts. So they're on my radar for potential plays.
Satellogic took a nice little dip too, didn't it? SATL.
They all did.
Yeah,
I have
that's
to
the
check. Yeah, I'm sure
Mnuchin
that one
and
did too.
Lutkin or Lutnick. Own a big chunk of that.
Yeah, that one's down near
Newfish called it
also,
out. It made a nice run from 3 on up to 7 or 8 bucks. I think. I
yep.
think it did a nice little pullback Friday. I just noticed that if I remember right.
Yeah, Redwire too. This was
Yeah.
one that, man, I should have held my puts a little longer. I had bought puts after it ran up from like 10 to 30, and
Uh-huh.
I sold them at 22. So I was like, okay, I think we might see some rebound. But then they had that public offering plus the SpaceX IPO, and it got absolutely crushed. So that's sitting down around like low 15s, which is right near my buy target at about $14. I actually really like Redwire right now, just for a long hold at 14. Sounds like a great entry to me. So, yeah, a lot of these space ones are ones that I think are going to see some retracement now that the SpaceX hype's down, and we might have a little bit of chill with the market. Maybe not after tweets tonight. But I love these space stocks. I have some cash secured puts, maybe some leaps if you're feeling a little crazy. You're just buying some stock outright. But yeah, man, space stocks were hot. They'd cooled down. I think, they could fall a little bit more, maybe consolidate more before going back up. But long term, I mean, that is the next frontier. And
Hmm.
I think it'd be a bad idea to short space long term.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to think about I'll be interested to see how the SpaceX performs this week. It's got to have buying pressure, with all the rules they changed for it. So um, the S and P's kept them out though, right? They're not getting in the S and P right away.
They did. I'm quite thankful for that because I
Yeah,
think that would have caused some problems. I mean, it's got valuations like a small cap right now, like a high beta stock of just insane valuation for, actual revenue. So I think that would have been really dangerous putting, the sixth biggest market cap company in the world, right into the indexes, forced everyone to buy when it's not making, any money. So it's just,
right.
that would have not been a good idea. I mean, they noticed that, obviously they know that. So, yeah, glad they stayed away. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is this is the ASTS chart, man, and I gotta say this is just looking very prime right now. I mean, we are kind of bouncing off that 200-day SMA,
that
right
does look
at
classic.
right at the call, or the gamma flip line too. If that holds, I mean, I just love this setup, like back to $100. I mean, could it go all the way down to like 75 to that put wall for sure? But I feel like it's very hard on this one to lose after this fall off with cash secured puts or some potential long term leaps. Like I'm just loving this like large cap space sectors for some plays tomorrow morning.
Right, right.
Oh, wait, you can't expand the screen on Substack? Yeah, we're experimenting, Geo, with some other streaming platforms as well because we like Substack because it kind of sends the notification that we're live to everyone. But in the future, we're gonna look at like X Spaces and maybe like YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming. Um, just so there's other platforms maybe stream to multiple at once, just so there's more ways for people to interact with the stream. Discord will work better, just maybe.
Interesting.
I don't know, I feel like we get a lot more viewers when we do it on Substack versus Discord. Um, but yeah, maybe yeah, I mean, we could consider doing a Discord stream for sure.
Right.
Uh, I'm not opposed to that. Maybe yeah, maybe we'll think about doing that next week. We'll see. We'll crowdsource it. Maybe I'll do a poll or something for everyone on Substack and Discord, and then we'll see what people want to do. Because yeah, we could definitely do Discord too. Um, And I actually have quite a good microphone for my other computer where I'd stream it in Discord. So yeah, we'll definitely consider that for sure. Um, so we were gonna have a guest on tonight. We'll have them in the future, but it was gonna be a fun one. I don't know if they're listening now, but we're gonna keep that one a surprise for a bit.
Yeah, do
But
that. Definitely.
yeah, so I mean,
Definitely. I'm
let's see.
looking forward to it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun
Oh,
one
it would be
when you
very
can make
fun.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what do we want to talk about tonight? I mean, we kind of know what's going on with the futures. I love space as a setup right now.
Yeah.
Are there any specific stocks that we want to look at or talk about? I mean, we always harp on our favorite small caps, and those actually, have some very nice setups on them right now too. But I
Right.
wasn't sure if maybe we wanted to look at some different stuff or different sectors that might be, that might be seeing either support or resistance from this supposed peace deal, and then dive into other setups.
Yeah. Yeah. They get anyone got some suggestions or requests, we ought to pull them up and take a look at them. Um, you know, I'm focused on trying to trade around with Hondas with the volatility on it. So I've been fortunate in selling some cover calls and buying them back a few times this past week. Um, but I'm getting nervous about doing it because it's come down quite a bit, and touched that $9 or 9.20 mark Thursday or so, and got down in the low nines on Friday. Um, But yeah, I'm getting nervous about selling calls continually down here at these levels, because it just looks like it's primed to even if it's down in the channel again to bounce up from here. So
Are you talking about on this?
on this, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta be careful if you're selling covered calls here. I mean, I'm
right,
selling your puts at this level because this thing has a tendency to get down, yeah, like you said, to those low nines, and then absolutely, have a little bit of an accumulation phase for a week or two, and then explode to the upside.
yeah,
I mean, we are just looking at like a perfect bounce off that 200-day SMA. With
mhm,
the put wall right below it at 9, I mean, I would be hard pressed to sell covered calls here. You'd have to you'd have to time me down and force me to sell those covered calls right now.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wanna see that run up to at least 12, and then I definitely consider it because then you got a 50-50 of, are we gonna reject like we did off the in the past around like 11.50 to 12, or are we gonna rock it up and, reach, previous highs or maybe even hit all-time highs around 15. But right now, yeah, it's not the time to fade this stock for sure. This is
yeah.
the time to accumulate it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's going to be a slugfest the whole way. Until they're until they can really start reporting growth from growth in revenue that they can attribute that they can say grew out of all of the acquisitions and the natural customer accretion from that. Right now, the knock is that the revenue they do have, even though it's been a big increase, they just more or less bought it with the by merging, or acquiring these companies. So um, I got faith in it, and yeah, I wouldn't mind. In fact, I did it in the smaller account. And I sold a few cash secure puts on Ondas, and then bought a few longer, not leaps, but I think they're July calls with some of the premium on the cash secure puts. So I'm looking for it to bounce now because it really has come right down to a solid area where it should bounce. So anyway, yeah, some other folks got some great stocks to ask about there. I don't
Yeah.
know much about Baba, but move back up to the beginning. I think
Yeah, I was gonna start with one of the geos there because he was the first to say. I was gonna say before that though, um, Mr. Bus was had a question about FOMC after stocks, and I've been talking to him quite a bit recently about that and in DMs, and I completely agree that I think this FOMC is one to watch because we have a new Fed chair, and in the
yeah,
past, anytime a new Fed chair is coming, typically the markets dip pretty hard in their first, I think it's 3 months of their term, so we still have, Powell on the board, right, as like an advisor, but we have a complete new Fed chair and the market does not like uncertainty. So if he goes and, who knows, he could do anything, right? Like, I'm assuming, he's not going to try to do anything crazy, but if he
yeah,
does, expect a huge shakeup. I mean, especially with the market pumping 1,000 points pre-market. I mean, maybe, I feel like maybe we'll chop Monday, Tuesday, and then get that Fed meeting. People are going to cover their position there. Like the market's going to fall off a cliff. I feel
yeah,
like, at least in some respect, because there's going to be a little bit of, battering down at the hatches until we get clarification of how that meeting's going to go. And then there's, rate hike scares. There's a bunch of potential headwinds. So I feel like
right,
it's not time to be euphoric. Um, it's a time to find, value stocks like Ondas right now that are sitting at these really, really attractive levels and then trying to accumulate shares of cash good puts. And then if something's, flying, you sell those covered calls on it and just really, really protect your premium and your principal. That's kind of my trading has definitely adapted where, when I didn't have as much money, I was shooting for the hip on, some penny stocks, some leaps, and, I was able to build up that base, but for 40,000 to 300K in 10 months is not sustainable. So you have to, change your strategy. And as you accumulate more wealth, you really have to do more defensive strategies, in my opinion, like waiting for value on sell side of options, because then at least,
yeah,
say you lose a good sign, you still keep something, right? It's not expiring worthless. So I
yeah,
definitely say risk off right now, people. I mean, we are, fear and greed is still showing fear, but I mean, I feel like that's going to, sentiment's going to swap when the market opens up tomorrow. So buy the stuff that's at value, like the space stocks and things like Ondas, and then fade things that are just way, way, way overbought. But yeah, let's get into one of these ones Geo said, which I'm not familiar with either of these ones. NN or ASX. Let's look at ASX. And I will say, if anyone missed the Trader Daddy price, the $34.99 before it went up to $50 this weekend, I do have 20 of the for life passes for $34.99 that I saved. So if anyone did want this still at the $34.99, I was gonna say something about it on After Hour, but for the people that are watching, if they didn't sign up and wanted that grandfathered price, just let me know and I'll put a code in chat. But yeah, let's look at this one. ASX. ASE Technology Holdings. So what do we have here? Let's see, what trader is it? This is a software company? No, semiconductors. Okay, okay. Call to puts. Looks like it's very bullish. Volume increasing. Wow. I mean, look at that. Look
I
at that
like the
bounce
chart.
football. You see that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It just perfectly tapped in. It looks like we call walls all the way up to 42, so we're kind of in the middle of this push up. I mean, chart looks healthy. This is looking like it's going to potentially retest this high and then break out to the upside higher. I could, maybe I'll write this one down and take a look
This,
at
yeah,
some
the
extra
volume's
time.
increasing on it. Yeah, that was like a good one, Gio.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it, but yeah, I
that's what I was
like
gonna
the whole
say. Is I
setup
need
there.
to do some research on it offline to see if I really like it. Look at some more of the technicals. But just looking at the chart, I mean, so okay. My only thing though with semis is, I mean, since April, semis have gone absolutely
It has,
crazy.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and just looking at how far we are above the 200-day SMA, like that always, scares me a little bit. Just because semis are what's ran, right? Like software hasn't done that. Really, no other sector aside from like memory and things like that, has really had this parabolic run like semis. So when I'm thinking of something like Copen, which it also, they do um, optical stuff, but then they also do stuff with like semiconductors. I mean, they got a huge move up, right, from like $2 to over 6 because of that semi rally and being
Mhm.
associated with it. And I'm trying to target them at like 450, right? Just because I know that they have been like overbought from a technical standpoint, and
Mhm.
semis have gone so far that we don't know if the rug could be pulled. Obviously, when somebody going to AI, um, SpaceX I think is a bubble, right? But like the big large cap semis, that's not a bubble. There's revenue to back that up. So I'm still cautious on it though, right? Like I'm trying to buy things that are at that 200 SMA, or are oversold, like space on this some drone stuff. If like I missed the move on this, right, on ASX, which I have obviously, if I wanted to get in right now, I mean, I would be hard pressed buying anything right above that put wall, and
Mhm.
I just stay away because I think that I can find value somewhere else. So, obviously this one's ran, and congratulations to Geo who got it at 28. That's a fantastic return, but I
No
wouldn't
doubt.
touch it unless it was down, just a little bit north of 30.
What is NN? I don't know that one either.
Let's look it up. Let's have some fun tonight because we don't have another guest.
Might
Let's
as
let's
well, yeah.
start looking at some stocks and give it just a bird's eye view rating of what we think based on some technicals. And then next, Nav provides positioning, navigation, and timing solutions in the United States. The company offers Pinnacle, an accurate altitude service for public safety applications, including enhanced 911 for Verizon and national cellular network providers. Interesting. Okay.
Right.
Wi-Fi, telecom, public safety. I mean, that's going to be huge soon, right? As well for like, drones and things. There's going to be like some low altitude air traffic control, and that stuff's all going to be integrated because there's going to, set out like a drone before the police get there. I'm sure there'll be some integration. Just looking at this before I scroll down, my eye caught the call to put volume. So we're sitting at 8 times the amount
The
of
calls.
calls versus the amount of puts.
Right.
That's
Yeah. I'm
obviously
looking
something
at this on
I'm.
my phone, but I can tell it's pretty lopsided, even though it's
Oh,
the size of my thumb.
yeah, we got a lot going on with the chart here in terms of some volume spikes and things. This is wow. Okay, this is a lot to look at. So wow, we broke out pretty
That
nicely
actually looks
above
pretty
the
interesting.
call wall, came back down. We're still above that gamma flip line. I mean, this one too, though, we are way above that 200-day SMA.
Right,
We also, it looks like we just barely made a new high, but there was a pretty strong rejection on that 24. Potential head and shoulders forming here as well, just on a lower time frame. So, not a great confluence, but this, I just think this was a pretty strong rejection that we saw off of this recent high. And obviously, there was some support, pretty strong support above that put gamma. But I mean, we are well above that 200 SMA. I'd probably just be steering clear a bit, with more, what, 30% above it.
right.
Don't like the entry. And right now I've realized, I don't need to take every trade, right? I can be very picky about what I go into.
Man, you gotta have
And,
discipline, you know? The,
yep.
chasing a run, is, but taking note of it and watching it and maybe, watching it pull back as the market pulls back and knowing that, good companies are in good sectors that we're running, is worth keeping an eye on for the next leg up, but sometimes, but hell, good call, Geo. Though I like both of those charts. This one here actually looks like it's a like massive to me when I see it. Just at first blush, it looks like some massive fighting over it here these last couple of weeks. A yank down, a yank up, yank back down, like it can't, and it could leg up or it could just roll over. It doesn't look like it's gonna roll over. I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to I want
What's
to
the
pull up
market
the
cap?
charts on Trading View because then we can see a
Yeah.
larger time frame because I need
Right.
I need the extra perspective to actually rate these. Some of the technicals. So looking at this on a 3 month, I mean, I do like it, right? I
Wow.
mean, we are
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
on the new trend. Um, I will say, we did have this high at 24 even back then though, and the rejection off that was insane. I don't know if like this is such a stark 1 day move that I'm assuming there was probably a dilution event. There would have been some crazy move. I mean, this thing almost got cut in half in 1 day, right? So
Yeah.
I'd assume there was dilution after a really big run. It looks like people might be scared with that, but yeah, I mean, I kind of still agree with my assessment from Trader Daddy, where I mean this was the fourth time, right, that we've tapped into 24 around 24, and then we rejected.
Yeah.
So I don't like this right now. I'd definitely be having some cold feet just looking at this, even with the uptrend. I mean, you can only hit that wall so many times before you are going to get a stark rejection, and I mean, we have a slight floor, maybe around 19, but otherwise, like this, I mean, it could drop all the way down to like 15. So,
Yeah.
I think you can probably wait on next snap if you're not in and, potentially wait for a really solid entry on 15. But yeah, that's just rejecting so many times off that level that I'd be hard pressed.
MP.
MP Materials, gosh, I haven't heard that one in a while since,
No doubt,
we had,
man.
it's
Yeah,
been a minute.
it's
I was talking to the town. Oops. Wrong one. Oh man, I remember this one. What didn't this one get over like $100 or something at one point when there was the strategic investment, and then wow, it's just been chopping, huh, for
yeah.
over 6 months.
If it's back to where it was when they first announced the investment, it'd be interesting, I think. At least for a bounce back up.
Yeah, I mean, I like it here, right? I mean, on the 6 month, um, it does look like we are potentially coiling right for a large move to the upside, at least to a barrier like around that 76. So
Right?
I think there's something to say about potentially getting in and then looking for exit around mid 70s.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's same thing here, right? Where it's tested the $75 mark pretty much three times and just has not been able to break through that. We also have a lower low here, which also is like slightly concerning. But also there was a huge sell off on the Nasdaq, the market in general. So
Right.
I'm not too worried about that lower low. I think it does have potential. Question is it in Trump's portfolio right now? because I know anything
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you invest in.
Better cross check that. Yeah, forget Nancy Pelosi. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, well, Trump can move markets like no other with a tweet.
yeah,
So if it's in his portfolio and it hasn't run yet, you need to be watching that. You have to play it right. And a big one is Palantir. So this one's in his portfolio. He tweeted about it 2 weeks ago with the stock ticker. I think it maybe this leg up here was partly from that. But I mean,
right.
look at Palantir right now. Like we are at this bottom here.
What
This looks like
135, 140?
126.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
it's at 128 right now. But this setup, man, on Palantir, I mean, they are, ingrained in like all software. They're going to be, something big going forward. I'm sure eventually the US will probably just invest in them. Um, there's not many setups right now that I like more than this, right? Just because we have an established company, use cases everywhere, very, very nice bottom on a large time frame. I mean, and then you have room to run, right? I mean, you could
yeah,
run all the way up to 160 pretty easily,
yeah.
and I
That
think this goes to
that rule
200.
of 80 or whatever, it looks a little more reasonable now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, like, yes, the P&E is crazy, but they're just,
Right?
their revenue is increasing. They had very good
Oh
earnings.
yeah,
Trump owns them. They haven't run. I mean, man, I'm looking. I might actually look at getting some Palantir calls here tomorrow. In my portfolio because
right.
I'm gonna check order flow. But I mean, look at the setup, right? Like we are testing
Yeah.
this right here. Like this looks just primed to go.
Now that's just
Uh,
6 month chart.
yeah,
Okay.
yep. And then we had a recent, break of structure because it was a little bit of a falling knife, right? But then we actually broke out into a new high on the time frame
Hmm.
because before we were just seeing lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and then we broke out. So either we're going up here, right, or we're gonna break through this like fourth time we tested this and drop pretty heavily. But I gotta say, I'm much more bullish on this and a move to the upside just with how useful the technology is. It's in Trump's portfolio. He could tweet about it again. It could go. We could get an investment in them from the government. I don't think you can short Palantir. I think you really this is the time to buy this for sure. Not financial advice, but Palantir is looking good here.
I like it too.
Yes, sir. Let's see what else do we got. I like this. We're taking some mid
Yeah. So
stream questions and
after
stuff.
MP Robert Seville says, ask about Copen.
Cool. Okay. I mean, I think you should lead
Everybody
the
loves Copen.
conversation on that.
Yeah, I like Copen. Yeah, yeah. But the biggest part of the my Copen position are some leaps. But I did buy some shares, and I sold $6 cover calls on them. So they're looking good at the moment. They expire Friday or Thursday. Uh, and but Yeah, yeah, I like Copen a lot. Now that, but it does bring up something that I have heard some more and more people talking about, and that is with you know big thing with SpaceX, not just the changing of the rules, but I think it's only like 5% of their shares that are trading, and
Mhm.
so that once whatever lockups they do have, there's going to be some long term investors exiting, right? And they're in it for much less than 135 a share at this point. But uh the just the nature of the market, like if it's really pumping and starts moving, we had that high inflation print right last week. Wasn't that a high number, 4% or better? But
Yeah, yeah, inflation came in hot, and then but
yeah,
then the jobs came in, great. Like the economy looks strong. So if inflation's high and economy's strong, that's like a rate raise waiting to happen, right? So it's
right.
a little dangerous.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Well, but what I was getting at was that is looking attractive for a lot of companies to start diluting or these companies that having these strong runs, um, offering shares at these higher prices to take advantage of them. Even if it's just to put the money in the bank, put it on the balance sheet, get it now while the getting's good, so to speak. I mean, even Google, put out extra, more shares to raise money for this AI build out. So, to my knowledge, I think they're the first ones to actually, one of the hyperscalers to do that. Up to this point, they've been spending their cash flow, like it's going out of style. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and so I do worry about Copen. Maybe doing that, raising some money. I don't worry about it. I do know. I'm just aware that it could affect the share price in the short term. Or even the medium term, depending on what they did. Um, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. I mean, they already did it to raise the money for that big machine they just got or bought. So, yeah, I got a little surprise for us on that. I got to go back and look at my notes, but I met a fellow that actually knows where they bought the machine from. It's not a new one that they've got. But anyway, I digress on the Copen. Um, but I like Copen long term, mainly because of that interconnect thing. They got good technology, been around a long time. Strong customer base, been selling to the United States government for a while. And the government, Anduril, companies like Anduril and all are buying what they're making. They're the best at it in that field. But the really exciting thing is the interconnects using the optical communications with the LED displays. Photonics instead of photons instead of electrons. So that's what's really exciting about Copen. So I
Yeah,
like
Cope.
those a lot. Even Ryan picked up some shares.
Oh yeah, and we've been. I
Yeah.
mean, we've been buying it in the Discord community as well.
Mm,
Target of like 450, I think, is just a great average in there. So we've been doing some cash secured put strategies with it moving down. I think currently the ones I called out have a break even of like 455 for July. So I'm pretty happy with those. And if I get assigned, we made 300 to pick up a few hundred shares of Copen at like 450. It's like that sounds great to me, right? So
right.
Copen, yeah, I mean, after that meeting, what we've talked about with it, this company is going to do some big things in the next 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So one, I'm trying to accumulate under five as much as I can within reason while still being diversified, right? But
Right.
I think will be a very good potential double or triple if they're able to execute on objectives, which looks pretty good. I think Michael Murray is extremely sharp, and they're lucky to have him as a CEO. So I think they're going to do big things for sure. Let's get okay. I saw Rick ask a couple times about AEVA. Let's get into AEVA. Rick, we
Yeah.
can see you, Rick. We're not forgetting you. Let's pull up AEVA. Yeah, so this one was interesting. I remember this one. I actually called this one out because there was a ton of unusual options activity
Right.
on AEVA where someone had put like 3-4 million on like out of the money calls, I think, with like a month expiration, with like a 40 strike, I think. It was very unusual. And that's my usual setup for like when I'm using Trader Daddy is I'm looking for, 10% out of the money, a month or two to expiration. And then like, usually like 1 million to like $4 million in premium. Like that screams so unusual. We know something, right? But
Right.
this one did not just load up to the upside. So it, though I still like it, right? So we obviously were having a pretty crazy uptrend for about a month. We're just making a new high after new high after new high. We had a longer consolidation period, but you're seeing in the interim here, right? We have another little
Yeah.
uptrend going on here.
Hmm.
This is looking like it's going to break out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am. I'm definitely bullish on AEVA. I think those options, I forget if they were for June 18th or July. That'd be hard pressed for them to go up to like 40 by June, but potentially, I think we could see um that by July. But
Hmm.
also we have to take into account geopolitical stress, macro, Fed headwinds. I mean, there's a lot going on holistically that's going to affect stocks, right? It's not just around that 2024 market where it's everything's very calm, things are just going up, we're having a great time. Right now, there's tons of money to be made, right? More than probably any other time in history, but it's probably easier to lose money as well. On the flip side, if you do something wrong, more than any time in
Volatile.
history, outside like
Yes,
the
sir.
dot-com bubble. So you have to be very careful right now, right, and how you play things because right, one tweet could send up futures 1,000 points, which literally happened tonight. So
Right. Right.
and it's a
Or
smoke screen, right? Because it's not it's going up on things aren't even confirmed. So you have to be very careful. Play defensive. That's why I'm liking, cash secured puts and covered calls and just having shares I know will weather the storm over the next couple of years. And then doing some leaps and things on high value. And then keeping a very small percent of my port for informed buys, like when I use Trader Daddy. So
yeah.
there's tools to be used for each part of the game. But anytime it's something where you're betting on someone else behind the money, that should be a smaller portion of your portfolio, in my
Yeah, no,
opinion.
yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
And we'll talk about that in the mentorship program too for those that are involved in that. Um, okay, I'm scrolling up here because I know we missed some. I think, uh, let's see. Rick was saying we may have missed some up here, which I'm sure I did. What else do we got on here? I'm going to scroll up quite a bit. Okay. BJ's asking about Xena. Xena, was that what was that? Was that a drone one or was that a healthcare one?
Man, I don't know Xena. I mean, I've seen it, but it's not one that I keep up with.
Or was this technology information? Oh, is this a software company? Xena. I remember hearing about this. This one. Oh, okay. Um, well, just looking at the chart, definitely don't like it. But it kind of looks like a software chart, which makes sense. The software being like a falling knife.
Right, right.
Um, I mean, in the short term, right, it's looking like we had quite a big sell off mid May. Uh, but we've had a nice little uptrend, right? I mean, we are really catching a bid here on these higher lows. Every
Yeah.
time we get
It,
moved down into a consolidation, we do move back up. I mean, wow, this was a crazy fall off into. It looks like it was actually going to fill that fair value gap and then rejected pretty hard. So this is one that's definitely a higher risk for sure. How this can't have a big market cap, right? Okay, yeah, it's got 122 million market cap.
okay.
Be very careful around this. This is a
Yeah.
micro.
And
Be very careful.
I was about to compare at least chart wise to Service Now. It's like it's reminding
Yeah.
me of better be careful here. It looks like a good place to play it for a bounce, but it could just be a little sucker's bounce there. Still heading lower. Um, has the Service Now given up those gains? It had a nice little gain when it came off of around 100, right up to about 140 or so. But I think it's given most of that back.
Oh yeah, wow. Service
Yeah,
now got what 140. My
yeah,
goodness. Yeah, looks like it pulled back down to 100, but I mean it's catching a bit at 100 too. So sir, I mean I think software, right? So everyone's saying software's back, software's back. I tend to agree, but it didn't have the tenacity, right? That um semis did. Like semis just kept running and running and running. There was no pullback.
mm,
Software had this nice run up recently. Everyone's saying, rotate software. And I tend to agree. I think software is going to be a great value buy here, similar like space and stuff. But it doesn't have the floor, right? It doesn't have the floor that semis do. So be careful with software. Xena, I mean, it's 100 million market cap, right? So it's like a lot of stuff we play. It's high risk, high reward. So it looks to be at a good level, but it's something you really got to research and you really got to have conviction for a specific reason, not just because it's, value on the technical analysis because or the technicals aren't there. It's a small cap. The valuation is very different than like a large cap. So technicals play a different role. It's something I would be very careful. And if you had some specific information about it, or conviction reason, then there's probably a reason to buy. But just looking at it face value, I don't see that. Um, I'd need to look into it more to kind of be like, okay, this is a great bottom because of this catalyst, right? So remains to be seen.
hey,
Oh,
appreciate the
yep.
info, Eric, on next nav.
Oh yeah.
That's NN that Geo put up. We looked at it
Yeah.
a little while ago.
I gotta say, the last 2, 3 streams, I think it really started when we had the big stream with Fish, is I love how active the chat is. I feel like
Yeah.
we've been seeing a lot more action in the chat, and that just really like, we could we can talk to people's faces all day forever, but I feel like when there's actually, people are asking questions, we're getting integration, we're actually just
Yeah,
back and forth dialogue. It's really nice and refreshing, so appreciate you
man,
guys.
and there's always another good stock,
Yeah.
man, that's what's great about it. Hey, in fact, I'm reminded of one I heard, um, Crispy on X talked about, ELMT. It's like a rare earth type, play, um, molybdenum or something like that, but it's like a lightweight machine, kind of a rare earth metal that's machinable, and they use it to, uh, protect critical components and on satellites. I think it is an IPO, ELMT. It just started trading a month and a half ago, maybe in April, but and it's had a nice little run. It looks like it's trying to hold it too, so we'll see on that one. But
Let's
uh,
look at that one after, because I mean, anything Crispy says, I
yeah,
listen. Like, that
yeah,
guy is extremely smart. He's had some very good investments. Oh, and before we get into CEG, there's something I totally forgot earlier, a point that you brought up that actually gave me an idea. So when you were talking about how all these stocks are running up, right? Like, dilution is much higher of a risk.
right, right,
That gave me an idea. I'm actually getting some goosebumps. 'Cause I'm like, whoa, this could be big. It's like conspiracy theory kind of. But
all right,
the fact that UMAC and Usual Machines ran up from 14 to 35, right, in a
right,
matter of a
right.
week,
Hmm.
and they did not dilute. And
Yeah,
it was either they were getting an investment from the government or dilute. The fact that they just never got that dilution and it went all the way down makes me think there must be something on the table, at least on the table, not
yeah,
confirmed, but like the fact he didn't dilute there after diluting at 23 before. I mean, you got to think, right? There's
yeah,
got to be something like that's not just talk, right, behind the table, because you
yeah,
have to dilute there with their valuation, with the stock more than doubling in a week. You have to dilute from like a just company perspective, right? It just
yeah,
makes so much sense. And obviously we don't want them to dilute, but that's just how this this kind of business works. So the fact that they didn't, man, I'm gonna have to actually pick up some UMAC, just some more
right.
UMAC after that, because I had my shares covered. Some stuff I got called away, but I'm thinking I might need to get more. The fact that we didn't get a dilution of it there, like, I don't know. That just seems suspect to me in a good way of like, it might
Yeah,
be something
yeah.
more.
Well, there with the taking equity positions in the and chip stocks and the rare earth stocks and yeah, you know, um any number of other they got a whole program called drone dominance.
Yep.
It just sort of follows on, and he's already tweeted out. Trump's already tweeted out pictures of drones around the White House. It's obvious to everybody that the threat from bad actors with a few drones is pretty real. Um,
And we
you
have no
know,
infrastructure here, right? Like, we have no domestic infrastructure, so it would make
right,
sense to invest in domestic infrastructure, so we're not so reliant on China.
right,
That's like well thesis, but I'm thinking just from like a government investment standpoint,
mhm,
make a lot of sense. So that
yeah,
actually is the fact they didn't actually dilute just makes me think it's got to be an investment coming, right? Like, it's got to
yeah,
be. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They don't want to dilute now. They want to wait for the real bounce.
yeah, yeah. That's not okay.
Right,
Yeah, I might.
right.
I think I know what I'm buying tomorrow. There's so
Yeah,
many good
yeah,
stuff we've seen here. The things I want to
yeah,
buy, like Volunteer and a couple space stocks. But hell, we're gonna add UMAC to UMAC still. The thing is, like UMAC, I really want to see 20, but it's just like there's just a chance where it's like maybe I'll just overspend on some leaps just to have the exposure
yeah.
in case. Because if it gets an investment, that's going to
Right.
$50 in a day.
Yeah, yeah.
It will be
And I mean, it's just I I hate to. It's not an investment strategy, but you gotta. It's definitely part of the landscape. But with the people who are involved with UMAC behind the scenes and on the boards and all of that, you just I haven't posted about it and don't hadn't talked a lot about it because I just don't want to be come across like I'm hyping that's, but I really believe it's coming. I mean, it's got to be.
Well, I mean, that's kind of
There's
the
just too
that's
many
that's the niche of
things
zero
lining up
hours.
for it.
We're not trying to hype stocks. Like the
Right.
ones that we talk about and we invest
Right.
in are stocks that we actually believe in, which is
Yeah.
kind of refreshing
Yeah.
from like Twitter. Not the tune our own horn, but it's like we're not just trying to pump anything, right? Like
Right.
we have reasons and research as to why we think these things are going to do what they're going to do, and so far
Yeah.
our track record's been pretty damn good. So
Yeah, and well, and Ondas and Lightpath and UMAC and Copen, these all of these companies are solid anyway on their own. You know,
yeah,
um, I don't think that they need the need it in order to flourish. That maybe that can't be said with all of the rare earths and whether or not they'll all be successful with their all their different mines and properties and interest and methods and who knows, you know.
mhm,
Um, but you know, by the time they perfect something in a process and it's all dirty and everything, that's why China it was able to corner it. There may be other technology on the table, you know, for for other ways to power these things or whatnot. So yeah, that's just seems more iffy and risky, but man, drones are going to be part and parcel of the whole doctrine, the whole everything. You know, the way that the armed forces protect themselves and the way that they carry out their missions. Hell, they just had the Sea Drone. It's a private company, a little company called Saronic, but the helicopter got shot down over there in the Persian Gulf or in there somewhere. But it's my understanding it got picked up by a unmanned surface drone
yep,
from the United
yep.
States Navy, you know, so that's pretty sporty.
And we didn't even know, no, we didn't even know they had like a bunch of amphibious drones. So it's like things going on
Right.
behind the scenes that we'll
Yeah,
see.
man. There's that should you know the more that these different things are happening with these drones, you know, and different um theaters and or with different use cases or whatnot, you know, it's waking more and more people up, you know. Ondas had the Forbes article mention. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot changing. Yeah, I just don't want to act like we're hyping and that and predicting, you know, that the you know the president's going to be tweeting about it, but I do believe it's coming. There's seems like it's just a
Mhm.
matter of timing, you know. Once yeah, once Trump has bought the right stocks, and
Yeah.
he'll put out the right tweets, right? So
I
anyway,
mean, it's about the best indicator that you can get for free right now. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Well, you can use it, or you can you can just let it,
yeah.
go by. But it's quite the tool. So or it's a good added confluence.
I can say
One
enjoy it
thing
while it lasts.
you
You know, I'm not sure. At some point, I just can't see that continuing. You know, the next president, the next president, the next
oh
president. You know,
no, I mean I doubt it. Right?
yeah,
It's
I hope not.
it should. Let's be honest. That it should be illegal, right? Like
Right.
same thing as Congress being able to trade stocks, but influence. I mean, it should be, but it's never going to be, right? Because they're making the rules on what are the rules. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm
There's
sure if everyone was in their position, right, they'd be like, "Hey, I want to do this too," right? So it's unfortunate reality, but we can at least benefit off it if we time things right and understand it. So
we got to
we
be
just have to
aware
be.
of it. You know, if you're trading, you got to be aware of it. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Hundred
it's got to
percent.
go in the calculation.
Yeah.
You know,
Nope. Nothing's fair in this game. You
particularly on
gotta
the
you
trading
gotta
side.
be honest.
Right on that, bro. Yeah.
Nothing's fair. It's a stacked deck against retail, so we gotta do what we can to get a leg up. So, I do want to touch on this one too that Gecko was talking about, CEG, which is nuclear. This is my favorite nuclear player going
Right.
into 30. Obviously, nuclear is going to be huge. That's the future to clean energy and power. This one's at an impasse right now, though. So we're on the 6 month. It it needs to hold this, right? This is the 6-month low that looks like it's bouncing off of.
Uh-huh.
Um, I love it here for a buy just because we are on that bottom. But if we don't hold that, I mean, who knows? I mean, we could go to 200 even, right? So we really do need to hold this low. Hopefully this acts as a nice point of resistance. I mean, looking at the 1 year chart, it could go slightly lower, but that could have been, macro related. I mean, the setup right now looks prime in my opinion. Um, 250, right? 240 does look like a great buy on the yearly for a reversal. I mean, last time we fell off this far, we went all the way up to almost near 350. So I gotta say, I love CEG right now. This one's gonna be big long term. This is a long term hold. I don't play in many large caps, but CEG is definitely one that I think is at a great point right now to
Right.
add to a portfolio for the long term hold. Yeah, Gecko. I mean, it is possible, right? I'm just looking at the technicals of it though, and the use case and the story. Um, Potentially 200, but this is one that we would be holding past 400 probably, right, in terms of long term. So I think a DCA strategy is important here, but just looking at it from a technical perspective, we have recently been oversold. We're oversold, almost oversold on the yearly. Definitely could gravitate a little bit lower before getting that rebound, but I think we're closer to a rebound over like a sell off at this point, based on where we're at currently with the chart, RSI sentiment. I think this one's going to be an absolute ripper here.
That'd be a candidate for your buying calls, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Yep.
love CSPs on this here.
Yep.
Typically though, like CSPs, I'm doing. I
Or
mean, this is
buying
extreme
leaps, you know?
defense CSP, right? It's like you bet
Yeah.
20% collateral. This would be something I'm buying like leaps on. While
Got
like small caps with higher IV, I like CSPs because they're getting a lot of premium based on the
Mhm.
collateral putting up. So yeah, this would be
Right.
a leap for like my port. Uh, Potentially a gem vault trade eventually, but there's just so many good opportunities right now. Things like Ondas and charts I know like the back of my hand that I really, really believe I have an extra leg up on that I'm buying instead. But CEG is one of the large caps I have on the long port for my key levels.
Yeah, I bought some more Safe Pro shares this week and
Love Safe Pro.
sold a few calls on them. Just wasn't a great time to do so, but just to just because they expire Thursday, said let me try and because I don't look for a lot this week myself. I think the market's nervous and it's choppy. There might be a few like individuals or some smaller parts of sectors that run here and there, but uh, all that sell off getting ready for SpaceX running up 20%.
Mhm.
Probably got more room to go just with the FOMO and the retail that 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 follows Musk and the demand that's there than all the other manufactured demand with the rules they changed for it. So it's probably still gonna move a little bit and suck oxygen away from some of the other areas. So yeah, I'm cautious and looking for really good deals because I do think that it's just kind of teetering right now. Like it might, we've had a nice recovery, real nice recovery these last couple of months. Um, and I don't know if it's gonna crash back, but
Yep.
I do look for it to kind of pull back a little bit. And this is a good week to do that with everything expiring Thursday, short week too. Um, you know,
Yeah, Safe Pro between 4 and 450. I mean, I like it just as a long term buy. I think the risk rewards there with the highs that are on 9. This
Yep.
is one I think we're targeting for like 12 and a breakout above those highs. But I mean, yeah, if you can acquire it through CSPs right now between 4 and 450, I think you're gonna be pretty happy with this one long
One
term.
another thing too, I was looking at some of SafePro's past news releases, these most recent ones. But man, they tend to when they announce that they got a contract, it doesn't take them long to announce they got it paid. It seems like
Oh yeah.
they'll sign and then they deliver and say pay up.
It's high
You'll
margin,
jet.
right? High margin, quick turnaround with the
Right,
software.
right.
So
Yeah, they don't.
even
That's what I'm
around a
getting at.
small
They don't
build.
waste it. They don't waste any time in turning that around, and they just there's more and more areas of the service in the army that could use their services. Um, the way these drones can spread mines, little small mines, that are just you know the drones are being used to drop mines from tiny anti-personnel, little, almost, just crazy small, to the anti-tank, mines. Just they can barely carry one out there and lay it, but uh, it takes the drone with the Safe Pro software, the threat detection, to mitigate that. And you can't just assume that your rear areas are safe. They got to constantly be vigilant and looking out for that threat. Um, so yeah, they've got a bright future, because what they have works really, really well, and they've been demonstrating it. So and it's becoming more and more known in the armed forces, the kind of threats that they need to be aware of and mitigating. Really asymmetrical stuff going on, and gonna be going on. Hell, Hezbollah's giving Israel hell with the fiber optic drones. I don't know where
Mhm.
they're getting them from. Must be coming through Iran, from Russia, but literally flying the fiber optic drones that are really hard to jam, and flying them around, and really posing real threats to Israeli troops and operations on the ground there. So it doesn't take much for an adversary to pose a real threat with the way things are going like this. So yeah, but maybe the 27th time is the charm, JT, and the straits will be opened, and then catch up with this lack. I mean, yeah, sooner or later, all the with the supplies being depleted, um, yeah, it's gonna have to start impacting, and
I think there's an
yeah,
interesting play around oil though, right? So we saw,
right,
it'll get crushed overnight.
yep.
But if this isn't over, and obviously, it's not like there's
Buy
just
the
gonna be
dip.
exactly. It's not like we're gonna see all these like the oil just we get to make up for all the lost time, right?
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
ships are getting through, we're billions and billions and billions of barrels short. I mean, I don't think it's actually a bad time to grab like leaps if you can on like oil
yeah,
and
yeah,
actually because that's gonna go back up to 100 at some point, right? It's got to. So I think that's a little contrarian play right now you could play because especially if that deal does not go through, next Friday, oil's gonna go
man,
back up like 9,500 a barrel. Like it is. So I think there's an interesting play around oil on this crush of
right.
oil. Yeah. Right now, I have been just trying to play the
Interesting.
game as much as I can. Where it's like something
So
happened, I'm calling BS.
So how would you play the oil though? Like say the everything took off green tomorrow. Everybody thinks it's the deal's gonna hold. They got Israel not trying to spoil it, and yeah, the prices start falling because they ships are coming through the Gulf, and you think that's just a fake out, for oil run up number two of the year, right? How do you play it? You buy like the USO ticker, or on the futures
There's
side,
a couple like smaller tickers. Gosh, I was trading him on Trader Daddy. I can't remember. I definitely would go like an actual ticker, right? Futures
right?
is they'll probably get liquidated. Try and just like day trade, oil futures,
Yeah,
and just picking like a couple smaller like oil stocks. And also, obviously, if this does go through, market's green, you already see VIX get crushed again. I think just picking up some VIX calls, right? That's going to probably go up with oil, right? Just because
yeah,
that spikes when there's some sort of uncertainty in the market. There's a lot of volatility. So I think you just play some VIX calls once that comes down around like $16, $15, maybe like a month out. You could even, keep like those monthlies as a hedge and buy a couple really cheap out of the money ones for a week out.
right.
And that if that deal doesn't go through, those that tiny little hedge could become something really big. So I think you could either play the oil or you could play VIX with an IV crush here coming. probably tomorrow morning. So I'd definitely, consider if you want to hedge, picking up some VIX calls if you see that's around $16 or so. We'll have to see what it opens at.
So I got $17 calls on VIX for December.
You didn't sell those on the run up when the VIX was like at 23 or 25, wasn't it last week?
Well, they didn't move that much. I think they might have
Oh,
been up like 10% or something. I mean, not
what?
even
Oh, that's
that. Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. And I was thinking because it's so far out, because that VIX can go up and down so fast. You know, maybe
I think it makes
maybe
this
it's a
more too.
mistake to buy the leaps. What's that?
With VIX, I've heard you kind of want to buy them in like batches of 1 or 2 months out as a hedge,
Right.
because then they move better. I actually remember
Yeah.
seeing Carly saying that VIX Queen,
Yeah.
she that's her bread and butter, and she was I think saying a month or two out. So usually when if
That
I'm
makes
buying
sense to me now.
it a short term is like a short term hedge.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me now. It's like after I bought them and I've been watching them here now for the last couple of weeks. I'm like, they're not really moving that much. And when you look at the VIX chart for the year, it never spends much time in one spot anyway. Uh,
Yeah, going up
but
with the
when it
event.
spikes up, so it's like, so what if you got this long term? This time value on it just doesn't look to me like it works the same way as leaps on a stock.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that makes a lot of sense having 1 or 2 months. Maybe I should have bought 5 for a month out and 5 for 2 months out, and then just maybe kind of roll them that way. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in doing that kind of thing and keeping a little extra cash and yeah, trying to be ready to take advantage of some opportunities at least in a small way, you know.
Yeah, no, we've been playing it really cash heavy with like the gem vault stuff, just
Mm,
to be safe. I'd rather just have the cash and buy an insanely nice dip than be
right.
fully deployed at all time highs and get absolutely destroyed in the short term. And honestly, I was way a little bit too gung ho at the start of the gem vault. So we had just hit all time highs on Ondas, and I was buying things way too expensive. And that's we're still holding some bags and like Archer and stuff from then. So this time
Yeah.
around just much, much cleaner with our entries, really buying value and then just fading stuff, even if we like it until it does reach that value point again. So I think that's key. If you're not doing the VIX hedging, you really wait on value and really maximize those option strategies on the
Mm.
sell side.
I
I
did.
think,
I did. I was able to break even on the leveraged Ondas ETF, 2x.
ODL.
And so yeah, last week on Thursday and Friday, I bought a little bit back. So and I think I did the ONDU just because they're and right at $7. Um, is pretty much at the 52-week lows, like $6.30 or so on that one. They're all about the same, just percentage wise. Uh, but yeah, so I went ahead and I didn't go crazy on it, but I went ahead and some of the money I made on the covered calls on Ondas, and I actually sold some shares and bought them back a little cheaper. But with that money, I did that. I went ahead and put it in the 2x um, ETF on Ondas, but at a much lower rate because I did kind of FOMO into it back in. I didn't get into it like you did in January. It was a little bit after that, but still, it was at too high. I should have really averaged into it instead of loading up on it because I
That was me too.
loaded up at a bad time. Yeah,
Yeah, won't be doing that again. So it's like expensive lesson, but
right,
just makes you better long term.
right, right,
I think I think I've been enjoying. We do the hour streams into the questions because if we go 3 hours, people got to go to bed and stuff, and I don't think
right.
anyone watching for the full 3 hours. So
Yeah,
I like the power hour, and I think we should do some questions right now. See what people are wondering. They want any takes for this week that we didn't discuss. Anything
sure.
else with picks or questions of why we like certain picks. Anything you guys want to ask? Benny's favorite basketball team. Anything. How about
Man.
New York getting destroyed? I couldn't believe it.
What's that?
New York getting destroyed. There's like rioting in the streets. I don't get it. Like I like sports, but I don't know. I don't understand why if you win, you go and destroy your own city. I'm
Right.
just like
Yeah. Or even
party,
the
go party,
goalposts,
right?
you know.
Don't burn things to the ground. Like what's that gonna do? I
Yeah.
don't get that part.
Yeah. No, I didn't. When did they lose? I thought they won.
No,
Um,
they did win, but yet they're still
they
burning
made a
their own
big time
city.
comeback, right? In
Yeah.
the last game, and then they lost the next game.
Next one 4-1. So they
Okay.
crushed the series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
they
I thought.
got Brunson, who's just a beast, and he's just the most chill guy ever. So I really wish. I just wish like the fans would act like as mature as the guys who are actually playing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. I don't know.
Yeah, San
I'm
Antonio was blowing leads for sure. They had like what 25 or 30 point lead in one of the games, and they lost. It was crazy.
fans ought to get more into the market. They probably wouldn't tear things up. You know, you know what I mean. They they need a place to put that energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we have a stream that's we're just on Poly Market doing sports betting?
Man,
You got
yeah,
prediction market. Hey, this is training. It's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, I would. I don't know. I don't know the edge there. I know some people do, but I don't. I could not find the edge with sports betting. I never tried, but I just
right.
want. I never had an interest to do it. I guess, but it's so big, right? I mean, the
Oh yeah,
uh,
always has been.
everywhere. The gambling sites, the
Mhm.
DraftKings, the Poly Market, like they're just everywhere now. So it must be it's on Robinhood. It must be a massive market.
Yeah, I
Or it's
just
on Robinhood. At what price would you sell on this and wait for a dip again? Um, what I guess what is your goal with it? Are you just trying to swing trade it? Is it something you want to hold for like five
right,
years, looking for it to go to 100? I mean, because if you're just trying to swing it, you buy it at around 9 and you sell it at about 13 to 14, and you do it until it's out of this channel. At some point, you're going to get burned. It's going to blow up. It's going to go pretty
right,
high, but
right.
that's the current levels of buying and selling.
Yeah, so I've been trying to accumulate when I do some of my scalping. With my scalping, it's selling on this covered calls and then, buying them back. And I'm too scared to even hold them overnight. Some this past week I would have done a lot better, just holding them all week long. Because I started out the week with 950 calls and it ended the week under that, so they would have been, they would have expired worthless. And yeah, I think at the start of the week they were maybe it was last Friday or Thursday. Those calls were a dollar or a little more. But anyway, um, yeah, uh, it's hard to say, especially if you're in a Roth when you don't have to worry about any tax consequences on selling and buying back. It's hard to say hold and watch this volatility just go up and down, but what I've decided is that uh about um about 25% of the shares, actually a little less than that, a little bit more than 20%, I'm willing to start either wheeling or selling the cover calls. I had them called away 2 weeks ago, and I bought them back on Monday and Tuesday. And um but I'm just gonna. Uh, I don't want to do it with all the shares, and I don't want to sell them and then get caught with my pants down and miss a $2 or $3 move. That would cost me a lot of money, if I did that with all the shares. But I feel like with the 20% chunk, I ought to be able to. I should be trading them, especially on days where I'm, like in the office and can watch the stock pretty closely during the day. Why not? Trade it. There's no tax consequences in the Roth, and
Mhm.
it's just kind of it gets old just watching it go up and then watching it come back down. Say, damn, I could have sold 10,000 shares and bought them back and made 2 grand. Just yeah. So and if I miss a move and it takes off, it's not my whole holding, the whole big chunk of on the shares that I've got. It's a manageable portion, so it wouldn't kill me to miss that upside if I mistimed it. You right? But if I'm staying active with it, it's just as likely that I won't miss it. That I'll have all the shares bought back, before it does move. So, um, but yeah,
That's a pretty much strategy as well.
that's what I'm doing with it. But that's also easy to do in the Roth. It's almost impossible to really, you know, it's not impossible, but it's a lot more complicated when you got to
It's
worry
just
about.
with Hondas, the premiums are so high for,
Yeah,
buy side. So I,
yeah,
instead of swinging it, I really do like just selling the covered call. Like when it runs up to 14, right? Selling covered calls like at the money or slightly above,
mhm,
because you can kind of assume, at least in the current channel, it's going to come back down. And the premium you're getting on that is just so huge. That's like,
yeah,
you call the way. I'm not that mad because
right,
it's going to come back down, and if it gets called away, okay, I'm still getting this huge, sell on top of it. And I even like selling 2027s, right? 2028s even on this way out of the money when it pumps up. So those premiums get so high, even on
right.
like that's twice, or three times, is higher than the current stock price. Like
Yeah,
you can just
yeah,
bounce back later if it has a bad run. So I think
yeah,
instead of selling, if you're going to leverage options, which is what I like to do, like, I'm selling covered calls on it instead of selling my shares. So yeah, I definitely
yeah.
agree that's a great strat. Okay, yeah, looks like last question on here. Kirk, update on SRFM and takeoff. Circuit mobility. Yeah, that had to have been my biggest miss of the year for sure. I really thought we were going to see a bigger run up here off some support from like early January, especially just with all the stuff they have going on, market cap, tailwinds with aviation. And this has just been an absolute falling knife, right? For the last year.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like there is a really, really strong, support gap here at the dollar, but it's just been having difficulty pushing above like $1.50. So I still had a sell target all the way, at like 550, which I still stand by that on my spreadsheet. But this is one that's just, accumulate and wait, unfortunately. So we're gonna need to see some sort of tailwind come in. Um, Potentially more interest of Palantir picking up some shares, which at this valuation I don't think is too crazy. And I think this is one that it's just gonna sit around this accumulation zone between $1 and $1.50, and then you're gonna see something big happen and it's gonna absolutely rip up, and then that's the time to exit. So honestly, like having just a limit sell at like 550 and then just forgetting about it and waiting for that to cash in.
So on the takeoff, I think is in fact I was looking trying to see what I could move around a little bit to actually add a little bit. It was down there, it's down around 40 cents, 42 cents, which is where I started buying it in the mid 30s, 34 cents, 35 cents, and got most of my shares between 40 and 46, 48 cents. Um and but it's back down around 42 cents, and I still like it. Holding all the shares. I got quite a few in takeoff. uh and Glenn Lynch, the CEO, has been constantly, several times in the last month or so, has met with different government officials on things. There's something brewing up there with or maturing out of that defense industrial strategy from the Canadian government. So um, that they've been hiring more people on the boards that are on the board for they're just, I don't remember all their names and everything, but they're really getting positioned to um I think to be a major player on the Canadian drone defense economy, you know, with their capabilities and all.
I
So
picked up 20,000 more shares myself.
on takeoff, nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
I'm
that's
thinking that it's my highest like percentage increase
right.
price target, because I've been at at a buy at around like 45 and then a sell at around $4 or $4.50. So
Yeah.
in terms of like capital appreciation, takeoff's my best bet on that, because I really do think it could have like that on this like run based on everything we've heard,
Yeah.
especially in the earnings calls and just what's actually happening in Canada with their defense spending budget. It's very exciting. So I was like, yeah, I'm getting in there for sure. I just holding that for an eventual takeoff.
There's the similar rumors in Canada around the Canadian government taking equity stakes in the major companies they identify as part of their industrial base. So um yeah, again, I don't that's not something I'm out talking a lot about or pumping, but I do think it's a very real possibility. That company Sentinel R&D, and they've signed a couple more deals around the world. And remember, their deal with Takeoff was for the manufacturing capacity at Mirabel, the facility and the capacity itself. So, uh, uh, good partnership, strategic, and they got a good product. Uh, uh, Sentinel R&D does. So complements real well with Takeoff. So yeah, Kirk, I'm still behind Takeoff fully.
Me too. Yeah, so I just increased my stake on that pull back because I think it's an exciting one, and it
Right.
does remind me of the Ondas in terms of their ambition to scale that out and be like a large platform for, in this case, Canada. So I think it's a very exciting one, and
Yeah.
also their valuation wasn't like sky high, right, in terms of price per
Right.
share. Which
Right.
they share, which I think it's just a good buy at the
Hmm.
current level, in my opinion. Yeah.
Not
So
quite profitable, but you just almost, just so. Um, yeah.
yeah, good stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, I kind of like an hour 20 for these just going forward.
Right on.
I think it's a good time where we're getting a lot of alpha and we're really getting some high impact information for people in like a, bite-sized package. 3 hour ones, that's fun for guests because
Yeah.
we'll have fun with it. But I really want to bring value to everyone that's coming to these. And tonight our viewership in terms of concurrent viewers and people staying around is very high. So appreciate all you guys for coming by. And
Right on. Yeah. Appreciate it very much.
yeah, I think I said I'm going live in the Trader Day Discord tomorrow. I think I said that. So potentially I'll be live tomorrow or Tuesday. I gotta look.
It was
But
in New Zealand. Check it out, man.
New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What time is it
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. So he probably, he's just middle of the day for him or something. I don't know. Right
Oh
on.
my goodness. Well, thank you so much for showing up. We appreciate everyone coming to
Absolutely.
these, and well, it's gonna be a busy week, right? I mean, these tweets are crazy. Who knows what's gonna happen, but we'll be here to
Right.
support you guys with any kind of questions, and we're here to help navigate. So
Yeah. Never a
um,
dull day. That's for sure. Short week though.
we got New
Thanks.
Zealand, and we got Hawaii. That's
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. One day we'll be in Hawaii. One day. One day. We got a lot of work to do till then. All right, everyone. Well, yeah, Benny. Good luck on the secret mission for 0 hour. Very
Right on.
excited
Right.
about the
You're in an undisclosed hotel room.
undisclosed
Yeah.
hotel.
Fifth floor.
People don't even know I mean, hey, we kind of broke it out into the private sector, guys. So
0 hour groups on the road.
yeah, you have to. We're like, we're the what? The Great Value James Bond. Yeah, we want that. Well, we're working though. We're working on some crazy stuff for you guys in terms of
Yeah.
retail investors and reach. So, get excited. You guys are gonna
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. No doubt about it. It's going to be a great summer.
Also, look out soon. These hats. Well, we want some money from artists to rep this. So soon you might see some other hats. Potentially closer to home. So watch out for that too. I
Right.
got some good stuff coming for you guys. Alrighty, well, everyone have a great week. Benny, good luck on the mission. I'll talk to you soon in the morning. And to everyone else, have a great rest of your Sunday night.
Right on. Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.
See you, everyone.